use this ChatGPT tactic to lose 20 pounds as a man over 40. I used to help Michael at 60 years old lose 28 pounds in less than 4 months, and Furkan lose 24 pounds, and I lost 13 pounds last year. And we all use this one ChatGPT tactic to do it easier. So I will break it down in this video so you can lose 20 pounds as a busy man over 40. Now, before we dive in, make sure you join my free community. Have a free community here, over 300 like-minded guys on the same fitness journey, and I got a diet, workout plan, and a testosterone boost protocol in there as well. But now, let's get started. First of all, I want to talk about why busy men over 40 struggle to lose fat. Like, what is the reason you're not losing fat now and haven't already lost those 20 pounds? So, Michael, for example, he who he that lost 28 pounds in less than 4 months. He actually lost over 30 pounds now in less than 4 months. When he came to me, he was doing a lot of things right. He was eating pretty healthy, like solid meals like chicken, rice, fish, potatoes, like pretty healthy meals most of the time. And he was working out, he was lifting weights, but he still didn't really like manage to lose fat and like consistently lose more and more. And it was one thing that was holding him back. It was the diet. Even though he was eating pretty healthy, he was not really eating right, not in a calorie deficit. Maybe eating healthy foods sometimes, but still having too much, and then some snacks, unhealthy stuff here and there, which just made it hard to lose fat. And his story is similar to mine. When I struggled to lose fat last year before I lost those 13 pounds, and I couldn't really like figure it out before, was I was eating healthy, but I was just eating like too much, too many calories, and I was kind of like like guessing on my diet. Like, yeah, I'm just gonna. I didn't have like a proven framework to follow. I was just, like I said, guessing what I gonna eat, how much. And that made my fat loss like inconsistent until I really figured it out. And that's with my other clients too. Why they don't lose fat is because they don't have a plan. They don't know how much they're gonna eat or what foods they're gonna eat. They just eat and guess like, yeah, well, this is pretty healthy. I'm just gonna have a bit less today, and so I can lose fat. But that doesn't work. It doesn't work consistently to lose fat. Maybe a few days you drop some fat, but when you don't have that proven framework to follow, you don't know how many calories you're gonna eat. You don't stay in a consistent calorie deficit. You can't like lose fat. That's the thing. The number one thing to lose fat is being a consistent calorie deficit. What is a calorie deficit? It's when you eat less calories than you burn. And calories is basically energy. So when you eat less energy than you use, what happens is your body starts using the energy you have on your body. And that's fat. Fat is stored energy on your body. So when you eat, get in less energy than you use, your body will use energy on your body to to like fuel your body. In that way you burn fat, lose fat. So that's why staying in a calorie deficit helps you lose fat, and that's the number one thing to focus on and do it consistently. When you eat too many calories than you burn, you'll store fat on your body and you will gain fat. You won't lose fat. So that's the thing. And even though you're eating healthy, you maybe are in a calorie deficit throughout the week. You fall off on weekends, you have some drinks, you have some snacks, you eat a bit more, you have some dessert, Events like if you're at a business dinner or just out with your family or you're traveling, you eat a bit more than usual. Yeah, like I said, alcohol, desserts, soda, all those things are very common, and yeah, it makes you be in a calorie surplus instead of a deficit, which can make 5 days of progress or like 1 2 weeks of like staying on good track. It can make all that like just like disappear, and you don't see any benefits from that because the calories you ate, the surplus you're wearing, destroy the deficit. They like equal out. So your progress just like disappeared. Also evenings, I know sometimes you're probably at evenings, you have some chips, yeah, maybe have a bowl of ice cream, something like that, which also can make you fall off track. Evenings, your willpower is sparse and it's just easy to start snacking. So now you're probably thinking, yes, you're completely right. This is me. Like I know this is your situation because I have coached dozens of busy men, and this is the number one thing that holds them back from losing fat. Now the solution to this is what I call the easy AI tracking system, and that's how I guarantee my clients lose fat consistently. So I use this system with all my clients, like not all of them, but most of them, especially those who are focused on losing fat. Just like I did with Michael, I did myself, and also the Mark, who I just interviewed on this channel last week. He lost 12 pounds with this. Then I've helped, yeah, Shiafik, another client I also interviewed like 2 months ago, maybe. He lost 11 pounds with this tactic. So it's really useful. And how it works is first, I make a diet plan for my clients that they have based on their situation, their goals, their schedule, what foods they like, what foods they don't like, how many meals they want to have per day, what is sustainable, and what can they stay consistent with, all customized for them. And then once we have that plan, I tell them to track what they've been eating every single day in ChatGPT, send it over to me. I have a look at it, like, see if they are hitting the right amount of calories and protein. Protein is also very good. You want to have high protein. Your body in pounds, grams of protein per day helps you build muscles, stop being hungry, makes you lose fat easier. So I have a look at what they've been eating and how many grams of protein and calories they got in. Then I see if they're on the right track, then you just keep going. And then if there's something, they eat too many calories, I tell them like what to adjust, basically. And that's often when they are not really following that real plan and maybe they travel, go on events, go for a dinner. Then I say, okay, next time do this differently. So it helps with those things. When I can give them that feedback and tell them how to adjust. I help them handle these situations, weekends, events, traveling, evenings. If they snack on something in the evenings, I'll tell them snack on this instead. For example, Michael, he used to snack on like chips and stuff. I said, start having Greek yogurt. He started having that, boom, now we lost 28 pounds. Changes like that, I help them do. But this is how I guarantee my clients to lose fat consistently. Have that plan to follow, send it over to me, and I help them do it easy, so it takes like 20 seconds for them to do it with using ChatGPT. How many, what they've been eating, how much of each food, and like how many grams of protein and calories. I have a look at it, adjust something if needed, and that way they always stay in a consistent calorie deficit and they can lose fat. And if they are not in a calorie deficit, even the plan is designed to help them be in a calorie deficit. But let's say, yeah, they have like an unusual day, one of these three or something, they just don't follow the plan, then I still help them make sure they are in a calorie deficit, tell them what changes to make, how to approach it, how to deal with those situations. Now, how can you do it yourself apart from just becoming my client? So, the first step to implement it yourself is create that plan for yourself. How are you gonna eat on a typical day, on a daily basis? And how you do that, use ChatGPT for that. Very easy when you can do it right. You can open a Google Doc, first of all, first step. Then the first two things you need to do is find out how many grams of protein and calories you need. Those are the two most important things. Calories, you already know how important that is. We need to be in a calorie deficit to lose fat. Protein, eating high protein helps with building muscles, staying full. It increases metabolism. It builds muscle. I didn't already say that. So that's very good. And we want to have high protein. Now, how do you calculate those numbers for your body weight? The calories, you take your body weight in pounds and times it by 10. That's a good amount of calories to start with, a good calorie deficit. Then you can go lower if the progress slows down. So if you 220 pounds, it takes times 10, that's 2,200 calories. So you write that in your Google Doc, 2,200 calories. Then the protein, you want the body weight you're trying to get to. So if you're 220 pounds, you're trying to get to 200 pounds, you want 200 grams of protein every day. It's a high amount, but once you get that dialed in every day, it's very good. It's not the end of the world if you get 180 grams or 170, but not below like 150 or like 160. Then it's pretty bad. You can like lose muscle, and yeah, high protein is just so good. So do that. You write down in this case, if you're 220 pounds, 2,000 calories, no, 2,200 calories, 200 grams of protein. Then you create a plan that hit those goals. Below 2,200 calories and above 200 grams of protein. Like, let's say 180 grams of protein to make it easier. You do that. Then you go into ChatGPT. You probably use ChatGPT for your work, you know how to use it. Very simple. And then you say, you give it some context. How many meals you want to have per day, what foods you like, what foods you don't like, how many variations you want, and like options of each meal. What if you have any like allergies? How, how much time you want to spend cooking? If you want to have something that's meal prep friendly, stuff like that. You prompt it like you customize it for yourself. The more that you can customize it for you and make it fit you better, the easier gonna be to follow it, stay consistent. But you do that, you give it all that context, the information on how you want it to be. Then you say, make sure it's below 2,200 calories and 200 grams of protein. Just like that, you'll get a pretty solid plan to follow. ChatGPT, it knows its things when it comes to this, but of course, it's not gonna be like exactly accurate with the calories and protein, but it's still like pretty accurate. You're still gonna get the results if you do that. So you have that plan, you put it into, then you can play around with it if you want to customize it more, change things, you can tell it. But once you have the plan, you put it in the Google Doc, and then you start following it. Start following it, and in that way, you will be in a calorie deficit, you will get more protein, you have a plan, just eat those foods, those meals with the right amount every single day. And to make this even easier, just eat the same things every day. That's the easiest thing. Like breakfast, especially like breakfast, lunch. If you have dinner with your family, like wife and kids, or you like to maybe you use like some variation for the dinner. It's fine, you can have that, but just making sure most of the things are like really pretty similar every day will make it so much easier. So you start following the plan and then you adjust it when needed. So if you start losing fat now, then you see that it starts slows down. Go lower with the calories. Take your new body weight times 10 or even like times 9 or 8 if you want to speed it up. For example, okay, times 8, let's say you go down to, okay, 220 pounds times 8 if you want to lose fat even faster. That's 16, 7, 1700, 1720 from right, yeah, around there, 1700. Then you start having 1700 calories a day. And let's say you don't feel that good of one of the meals you have, then yeah, you adjust it. Maybe some take too much time to make. You adjust it. Tell ChatGPT I want something that less time to make, faster. And also when you customize it for yourself, when you say like what foods to include, the best foods to have to eat is steak, ground beef, chicken, turkey, fish, Greek yogurt, eggs. Really good high protein foods. Those are gonna be your main protein sources. And then potatoes, rice, fruits are like good carb sources. You want to have really high protein and like low carb. I only eat meat, eggs, and fruits. I have like three fruits a day, a lot of eggs, a lot of meat. So you want to keep the carbs low. That's gonna help you stay in a calorie deficit and have high protein. So that's just some principles to follow. Always eat high protein, low carb, and avoid like sugar, unhealthy stuff, bad oils, and that's it. And then you want to keep it simple. Simplicity is everything. You as a man over 40, you got a demanding job, family to take care of. You can't just make these crazy fancy meals. Unless if you like to do that, of course you can do it. But probably you don't want to do that. You don't want to spend a lot of time cooking, getting groceries and everything. Keep things simple. For example, me, I only eat eggs, ground beef, and fruits. Those three things is like all what I eat. Breakfast, eggs and a fruit. Lunch, eggs, ground beef, and a fruit. Dinner, ground beef and a fruit. Or I can have something else if I'm eating with my family or something for dinner. I can have a different meal. But especially like breakfast and lunch, it's the same every single day. What I eat, what I'm eating. Keep it simple. Like the eggs, meat, and fruit diet is great. It's not too extreme. It's enjoyable. It's nice. So if you can, I would just go with that, and it makes things very easy. So like as little as foods you can include, the better. Like you can literally just have chicken and eggs and potatoes. That's like and some fruits, and that's like all you have every day. Like I like ground beef and chicken. Ground beef is one of the best foods, one of the best protein sources. But yeah, just keep things simple. Then also now this will help you start being a calorie deficit, and then how you're not falling off with weekends, events, and evenings is once you have this plan, you can also tell ChatGPT, I'm going to this restaurant. What should I have to be as close to the plan as possible? I'm going traveling. And like most cases, you can still following your plan. Like use your like brain to just like eat similar. If you go travel, you still they still probably have some meat at the restaurants, at the hotels and stuff, and you just eat a lot of meat and avoid the carbs, avoid the bullshit, avoid the sweets. And then if you find yourself like snacking on evenings, you basically want to think what the root cause is. If it's you're hungry, then you eat more protein. You have some Greek yogurt instead of snacking on some chips and stuff. If it's you're stressed, go for a walk of eating. If it's you're bored, make sure you have some fun things to do like work on a business, play with your kids or whatever it is. Go join a sports club or something. Hit a workout, like go to the gym. Do some fun stuff like that. And then when you travel, you can also tell ChatGPT that. Make a new plan like this. Now when I'm traveling to this place, these are the foods that likely gonna be available, things like that. If you go to a restaurant, okay, this is the menu. What should I eat to still like be in a calorie deficit? That helps. But this is basically the easy AI tracking system. Uh, It's a bit deeper than this, but this is like all you need basically. Have a plan, following it, adjust when needed, keep it simple. Most important thing, you are in a calorie deficit. And the result from this is consistent fat loss. You'll start losing fat consistently, be able to lose those 20 pounds. More energy and time for work and family. Once you do this, you actually figure out a diet that works for you. You don't need to think about it. You will have more energy and time for your work and family. And use more energy because you lose fat, which is great. Then healthier. Everyone knows the less fat you have, the healthier you get. That's great. You'll be able to live longer, feel better, get less diseases, be there for your family. You just like feel and look great. Now, I currently have 3 spots open to work with me one on one to lose 20 pounds in the next 3 months. If you're curious, there is a link to apply in the description. There is a link to apply in the description. First come, first serve, where I basically make a customized diet and workout plan for you if you start working with me. Set up the easy AI tracking system for you, where I help you do it. I make everything. You don't need to do anything yourself. I come up with the plans, and I also give you feedback on your diet. Make sure it's dialed in. You're on a consistent calorie deficit, and most importantly, I help you not fall off on weekends, events, evenings, or traveling. And then, yeah, you get access to me every single day, chat support, check-in calls, everything like that to make sure you get the results. All my clients, they've been loving it. So here are some reviews you can look at and read from the clients out. Some of the clients I've helped, I help many more. And now conclusion, an inconsistent calorie deficit is the problem. That this is the number one problem. I don't care what anyone else say. It's not that you're not doing enough cardio. It's not that you're eating unhealthy. Yeah, eating unhealthy, of course, makes things harder. But the main thing is you're not in a consistent calorie deficit. That's the number one thing. If you were eating 1,000 calories a day, 1,500 calories a day, you will lose fat 100%. Then use ChatGPT. It's a good tool. Come up with a diet plan and how to handle situations that yeah, where you not really following the usual diet plan and it gets harder. Then make it simple. You are a busy man. You have a lot of things going on. Can't just make things too complicated. Like keep it simple. So this was it for this video. Take action and you'll get the results. See you in the next one.